Hi guys, welcome to today's video. I want to do a testing new foundation video and a wear test. I want to test out the new Urban Decay Face Bond waterproof foundation. I saw this released and its claims had me jumping on it immediately. If you guys know, my preferred foundation style is more mattifying coverage, more medium to full coverage, and something that can control my oils. So I jumped all over this guy. Let's get into talking about it. We will apply it. We'll do the full wear test. In case you normal, combo, and oily friends out there are interested in this foundation, let's do it. So it says it's a lightweight waterproof foundation with the skincare benefits of a serum and self-setting powder for blurring effect in a medium coverage matte finish. It says that the finish is matte, but it's natural. It says that it's made for normal, combo, and oily skin. It also says a lightweight medium coverage foundation for sensitive skin is non-comedogenic with 3% niacinamide to improve feeling of skin texture and minimize appearance of redness, acne scars, blemishes, and pores. Its self-setting powder reduces shine for a blurring, natural matte, smudge-resistant finish. It comes in 40 shades, which is pretty good. It already has 896 reviews on Sephora's website. It retails for $40. It is your standard 1 fluid ounce, has a 12-month shelf life on it, and it's made in the USA with imported ingredients. This little dropper that it comes with, on the box it says patent pending no mess waist dropper. The lid just pulls off. I was kind of trying to twist it. I like the dropper though. It's actually quite cute packaging. So the way that I like to do my wear test is I like to apply one side with a brush, one side with a sponge. In this case, it does say that if you want more full coverage, you would apply it with a brush. And if you want more natural coverage, you would use the sponge. That's normal. But I always like to see if there's a preference. Sometimes I prefer one application over the other. That's not always the case though. Sometimes I literally can't tell the difference, but I like to do that when I'm testing just a foundation by itself in a dedicated video. So you guys, let's get into it. I'm going to apply like half a pump, I suppose. I have mine in the shade, which is too dark by the way, 6 Fair Warm. I don't even remember buying it in this deep of a shade. I think what I was doing though was like looking at the models here. This is definitely way too warm. I like a cool toned foundation, but it is what it is. That's what I got. So far the texture feels really lightweight, but it's not a runny serum like formula. When I rubbed it in, it definitely had a powdery finish, and the little bit that I put on the back of my hand when I rubbed it in gave me a pretty natural looking finish. So I have high hopes for this, even if it's the wrong shade. We'll bronze it up, we'll drag it down, we'll get it done. Let's go into the left side with my brush. It's the Real Techniques foundation brush. Well, that was freaking gorgeous. I'm gonna take the rest of what's on the back of my hand, just add it back to my face. The recycling truck is here outside right now. They're pretty loud. The camera can pick it up pretty well. That was freaking amazing. Wow, that's gorgeous. I would say though, it's a very lightweight formula. It was very easily blended in, but I could feel it self-setting as I was kind of going, like especially on the forehead where I had left it the longest. I could feel it start to set itself down. So you might want to work quick with this. The way that I was applying it was like putting it all over and then working in sections. I still think I could get away with that. I don't even want to build it. It looks so natural and so medium. I think I'm going to leave it. And I don't even think this is such intense coverage that 6 Warm looks bad on me at all. I didn't put a little bit. I feel like I definitely put it all over my face, but still, I think that was like the sweet spot in the amount of coverage. All right, let's go into the right side with the sponge. Okay, definitely a lot less coverage. It's not even as even with the sponge side. You can definitely see a ton more of my freckles and my redness. I definitely like it better with the brush side. Just a hint more coverage with the brush than I feel like this side is. I even want to get like the redness around my nose here, right here on the right side that I don't think I got. and maybe kind of on my jawline. Upon first application, this is so gorgeous, so beautiful, way more skin-like than I thought it was gonna be. I don't think I've ever tried an Urban Decay complexion product ever. I've tried their Quickie Concealer. That could almost be considered as like a complexion product because it didn't work for me under the eyes, but this is the first time I've used something kind of all over the face. This so far is absolutely gorgeous. You can tell that it's self-setting, it's definitely not lying, but it gives you enough time to work with it, and it's very blendable. I feel like that's so important for me personally because I love the process of putting on foundation, and when you get a really blendable product, it just kind of makes the experience just a little bit more pleasurable. I just want to see that it controls my oils all day long. It says self-setting foundation up to 24 hours, which is BS. I've never had a foundation lasted me 24 hours, not even the mattest of matte ones that didn't like cling to every single dry area or create dry patches on my face. This is water, sweat, and humidity proof, smudge and transfer resistant, no powder needed. Should we test that? Should we not powder? I'll just powder under my eyes and like leave the rest and we can test it. I always do my wear tests for foundations the same. Ever since I did my foundation a day for 42 days series where I retested all the foundations in my collection. So if you haven't seen one of those videos, I always go and I finish the rest of my makeup, then we do one final check-in. Any assessments that I might have, how any product laid on top of it, I give you guys those notes. I go about my day, but first I do a natural light check-in for you guys so you can see it really up close and how it looks on the skin. Right now it's really blurring. It just looks so natural. It just looks so good. Then I do a check-in for you guys at around the 5-hour mark, 4 to 5 hour mark on my phone, and then I show you guys the footage at the end of the evening when I come back and I do one final check-in. This one's gonna be a longer one today because it's really early in the morning and Tuesdays my son goes to hip hop class. Let's put this thing to the test. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Everything is completed. I actually have some thoughts for you guys. I really do. I usually don't. Sometimes it's just like, it's the same, looks good. This is what I ended up putting on my face. I ended up putting a cream bronzer, a powder bronzer. I put cream on my cheeks, powder on my forehead, and then I put on a liquid blush and a powder highlighter. Now everything laid on top of it perfectly except one product, which usually never happens. So I used my Dior Forever Skin Correct concealer, which is my holy grail concealer. It works literally across every foundation on every single day. It's never drying. And for whatever reason, it was like sitting on top of the foundation. It didn't mesh well with it at all. It was making it look really dry and like noticeably layered. So that was really strange. I probably have drier under eyes anyway. And so I think it like had self-set under my under eyes just a little bit too much. And so layering that product the way that I do a concealer, which is like blending it out on top of my foundation, it did not go well. I'm just gonna say. I think it looks fine now, but it definitely took a little bit of finessing. I did powder under my under eyes and across my nose because there's no hope for my nose. That's where I'm gonna get oily the fastest and the most, and I always like to powder my nose. So I didn't powder anywhere else on my face. I'll still get oily on my forehead, so we'll be able to test whether or not it holds up on the forehead. Aside from that, it is very smoothing on the skin. Even though it's matte, it's not dry. So far, I'm loving this. And I don't even think the shade is terribly wrong for me. I also love the fact that it has 40 shades and it does go pretty deep, and they're cruelty free. That's the initial try on and my first thoughts, you guys. I already filmed the natural light check-in at the window after putting on all my makeup. I will be linking all of my makeup and the shades to everything that I'm wearing in case you guys are interested in the description box below. But for now, I'll see you guys back here at the very end of the evening. Hello, beautiful people. I'm filming in actually mostly natural light right now, so I don't know how this is gonna come out. Hopefully it's good and you guys can see how my complexion is looking, because it looks really yellow with the sun setting right now. So hopefully it looks good. Oh, you guys. I'm fully in love with this. It's not the most matte foundation I've ever worn. It's not the most oil controlling I've ever worn, but it's pretty damn good. I told you guys I powdered my nose, and even though I powdered my nose is still oily right now on my forehead. I'm glistening, but everything's pretty much intact. I'm gonna jump in and show you guys what it looked like right away in natural light. It was still really smooth on the skin, wasn't sinking into any fine lines. I liked the way that it looked close up. And then I did a check-in again for you guys in natural light at the 5-hour mark. I was still very pleased with the way that it was holding up. I was getting a little bit dewy on my nose, and I think it was starting to look maybe like a little bit heavier than it did when I first applied it, but it was still pretty much intact. This blush also stayed on pretty well. I mean, everything else stayed on great on top of it. It definitely looked pretty heavy around my nose as I was starting to go outside and sweat a little bit and I was wearing sunglasses. I had the foundation mark on my nose at one point, and it's usually an indication that my foundation is just a little bit thicker than normal, so I don't think that it was like the most lightweight natural thing, but I loved the finish of it. I like how smooth it made my skin. Overall, I didn't think it looked too heavy. Everything that I laid on top of it laid perfectly. I like the shade range in this. I like the number of shades. I like that it's mostly self-setting. I think that if you had normal or combo skin, I think this would be a really great product. For people with oilier skin, I would definitely say use this, but also put a setting powder on top of it, and even maybe a mattifying setting spray to help the longevity. Oh, and I forgot to mention how many hours we are in the future. So I probably finished putting everything on around 10 o'clock. It is now 7:05 and I just finished dinner with the fam, so 9 hours. Precisely 9 hours of wear. That's pretty good. And still everything looks like intact. Sometimes I come up here after I've done these wear tests and it's like, girl, how long have you been out there? Whereas right now I still feel like I could get away with, you know, going for another 5 hours and not look a totally hot mess. I really hoped this video helped you guys in terms of wear test. Again, my recommendation here is probably normal all the way to oily skin. I would definitely recommend you guys watch other content creators that have dry skin wear this. I can just say it doesn't like cling to any dry patches. I don't feel like it's overly mattifying. That's kind of my recommendation, not having dry skin anymore. But I have seen Jen Phelps. As I was literally sitting here filming this outro, I saw a video just pop up that Jen Phelps did with a wear test on this foundation, and she has dry skin. So that's my recommendation. If you guys have dry skin, check out her video. She generally does a really good job with her wear test. If you're not currently subscribed, I'd love to see you subscribe. And I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.